You know that feeling when you're so excited for a remake of a story you love, but when you finally see it, it just feels a little too familiar? It's a super common problem. Well, today we're going to look at a powerful creative technique to fix that by totally breaking down a story literally everyone knows, Little Red Riding Hood. It's pretty frustrating, right? You get a new cast, maybe some cool updated visuals, but the story beats are so predictable you could set your watch to them. It feels like so many reboots just change the window dressing without ever really daring to look at what makes the story's engine run. But what if I told you there was a systematic way to break out of that trap? A creator named Pico Zoe argues that there is, and it's a framework built on 4 core strategies for truly reinventing a story. Picasso calls it the 4 arithmetical operations of rebooting. You've got addition, multiplication, division, but the one we're going to focus on today is subtraction. And you know, while it sounds simple, you're about to see that it's a deceptively powerful tool for some radical creativity. So before we can subtract anything, we have to understand what makes a story in the first place. And really, it all comes down to one absolutely essential ingredient. Just look at the difference here. A daily log, woke up, went to work, came home. That's just a report. It's boring. But the second you introduce an unexpected problem, a conflict, my boss had been replaced by a wolf, bam, it instantly becomes a story. That single problem is what hooks us. The source material gives this a fantastic name, the axis of conflict. This is the central opposition that everything else in the story revolves around. Think of it like the engine that drives the whole narrative forward. Without it, you don't have a plot. You really just have a progress report. Exactly. And the enemy doesn't have to be, a person in a black hat. It could be an internal flaw, a natural disaster, or a huge societal issue. But there has to be something for the protagonist to struggle against. Conflict is, for sure, the lifeblood of a story. Okay, so with that in mind, let's run a little experiment. We're going to take the classic story of Little Red Riding Hood and apply the most basic, most obvious form of subtraction, just to see what happens. We all know the beats, right? Girl with a red cape, a basket of goodies, a trip through the woods, a very clever wolf, and a last-minute rescue. This is our baseline. This is the story we all know. All right, let's just pull him out. He's the antagonist. He's the axis of conflict. If we subtract him from the equation, what's left? And the result is, well, a completely forgettable afternoon, right? Removing the conflict just causes the entire story to deflate. There's no tension, no growth, no point. This shows us you can't just delete the villain and call it a day. And this is where we get to the real insight of the subtraction technique. It's not about removing the conflict. It's about reassigning it. You don't get rid of the problem, you just change who or what is causing it. So here's the trick. You have to separate the character from their function. You remove the wolf, but you don't remove the role of the antagonist. Instead, you transfer that job, the axis of conflict, to someone else who's already in the story. This right here is a total mindset shift. Instead of thinking, who is the wolf? We have to ask, what did the wolf do? Its function was to deceive, to threaten, and to create the central problem. So who else could do that? So by reassigning the wolf's function to the other characters, the grandmother, the mother, and even the huntsman, we can generate 3 wildly different, totally original stories from the exact same set of ingredients. This is where it gets fun. Okay, first up, what if the sweet old grandmother isn't so sweet? What if she is our new axis of conflict? And just like that, we're in a horror movie. The conflict shifts from outsmarting a predator to surviving the undead. The tone, the genre, the stakes, everything is transformed just by reassigning one single role. Okay, let's rewind. This time, the function of the villain, the one who deceives, the captor, is given to the person Red Riding Hood trusts the most, her own mother. Now we're in a dark crime thriller. The mother's errand wasn't an act of kindness, it was all a distraction. The entire emotional core of the story is completely inverted. The safe space, home, becomes the ultimate threat. All right, for our final reboot, let's take the original story's hero, the brave huntsman, and make him the new source of danger. Boom, now it's a ninja action story. The original savior is now the final test. Little Red Riding Hood isn't a victim at all. She's an assassin in training, and Grandma is her spy master. It is incredible how one simple switch can unlock so many possibilities. So, what have we learned from turning a simple fairy tale into a zombie horror, a crime thriller, and a ninja epic? Well, the lesson goes right to the very heart of what makes stories work. It all comes down to this. The surface details of a character are way less important than the role they play in the story. It doesn't matter as much whether it's a wolf or a grandmother. What matters is their function. That function, that axis of conflict, is the story's true engine. And if you change who powers that engine, you change the entire journey. So, whether you're creating something brand new or just enjoying a classic, ask yourself this question. Look past the obvious villains. Is the true source of conflict the monster, or maybe is it the system that created it? Is it the rival, or is it your hero's own pride? The answer just might unlock a much, much more interesting story.